If you're retired or close to it, a jump in oil prices isn't just a problem at the gas pump. It's quietly raising the cost of almost everything you buy, and it can force you to pull thousands more out of your portfolio than you ever planned or accounted for. And almost no one is connecting that for you, least of all the advisor you're already paying. We've spent decades sitting across the table from families in exactly your spot. Let us show you what's really happening underneath that number.
This video is for educational purposes only. Always consult professionals before making legal, tax, and investment decisions. So here's what we're going to walk you through. First, why a spike in oil is really a hidden tax. One that hits you even on the things that have nothing to do with driving. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And before we're done, we'll show you the number that stops most people cold. Exactly how much more income you'll need just 10 years into retirement to live the same life you live today. It's a lot bigger than almost anyone ever expects.
Let's start with the part that says invisible. The gas pump is the obvious thing. Everybody sees that, but that's maybe the smallest piece of it. So let's think about how you get a banana, how the banana gets to your grocery store or to your house. It's picked somewhere far away, shipped, trucked, refrigerated, stocked. Every one of those steps requires own energy, and then you have to drive it to your house. So when oil goes up, that banana costs more, and so does almost everything else on the shelf in the grocery store.
So that's the part people miss. You're not just paying more to fill the tank. Every good you consume costs more to get to you. The company shipping it pays more, and that cost gets passed straight down to you at a higher price. And here's the sneaky part. It lags. The banana you ate today was shipped a couple weeks ago when oil was at a different price. So the full hit doesn't land tomorrow. It shows up slowly over weeks and months, which is exactly why it's so easy to underestimate.
So here's the simplest way we know to think about it. A spike in oil is really just a new tax. For someone like Bill Gates, it costs him more to gas up his private plane. And to him, it doesn't matter at all. But for a family or a retiree living on a fixed income, it quietly takes a bite out of every dollar. And nobody voted on it. Nobody announced it. It just shows up.
And watch what that does to your spending. If it costs you an extra $10 to fill your tank, that's $10 you don't get to spend on the movie, the dinner out, the fun stuff. A lot of people say, well, I still want to live my life, so I'll just put it on the credit card. And now you have a new problem. That balance compounds at 20%. A short-term squeeze quietly turns into a long-term hole.
Now you might be thinking, okay, but I've planned carefully. I've got a pension or a solid portfolio, so a few bucks at the pump doesn't really threaten me.
So here's the problem with that. It's not a few bucks at the pump. It's what those few bucks represent across an entire retirement. If you're living on, say, $10,000 per month, and suddenly the cost of your actual life creeps up, you have fewer dollars to work with. So you pull a little more from your portfolio to cover it. That's a cost nobody projected. And over 25 or 30 years, those unprojected costs are exactly what quietly drains a plan that looked rock solid on paper.
If you're getting value out of this is the stuff that most people never hear from the advisor they're already paying. That's what this channel is. The conversations that usually happen behind a closed door out in the open. Subscribe and you won't miss them. Okay, here's the number we promised you.
So most people don't realize this. So let it land. In just 10 short years, you'll need roughly 40% more income to enjoy the exact same lifestyle you have right now. Same house, same trips, same dinners out. 40% more income just to stand still. That's what inflation quietly does. And oil is one of the biggest engines underneath it.
There's a Ronald Reagan quote we think about a lot. He said, inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. And that sounds dramatic until you're the one living on a fixed income while prices are climbing. Because here's why retirement is where this gets truly dangerous. When you're working, you barely feel inflation. You get a raise, a promotion, a bump, a bonus, and that quietly papers over the rising prices. You go a little numb to it. But the day you retire, those automatic raises stop. The prices keep climbing, the raises don't. So unless your plan is built to create its own raises, you slowly lose ground every single year.
And that's the cruelest part of the timing. Retirees are not only the least prepared for an inflation shock, they're in the worst position to do anything about it because they're not working anymore. There's no overtime to pick up, no promotion to chase. You worked your whole life precisely so you wouldn't have to worry about money in retirement. Inflation is a thing that can quietly take that away, not by crashing, just by grinding.
Let us be straight with you, though, because we don't do hype and oil isn't a villain in some story. Could oil prices go higher from here? Sure. Could they come right back down next month? Absolutely. We don't know. And neither does anyone on TV. A short spike that fades, you'll barely notice. The danger isn't the headline. It's the retirement plan that never accounted for the fact that over 25 or 30 years, energy and prices will run higher, at least in stretches. The headline is temporary, but your retirement lasts for decades. So what do you actually do about it? It's not panic and it's not some dramatic move with your portfolio. It's simply building a plan that assumes a rising income stream from the start. Income designed to climb over time so it paces inflation instead of falling behind it. But remember, retirement isn't funded by your balance, it's lived on your income. And that income simply has to grow.
And here's the one most people get backwards. Don't walk into retirement with just enough. Build in a cushion, money above and beyond what your plan says you'll need. Because something always comes around. 6 months ago, nobody had oil spike on their list. The families who do best aren't the ones who predict it. They're the ones that built a buffer so they never had to.
So now you understand the hidden tax working against you and the number, 40% more income in just 10 years, that you have to plan around. But that raises the real question, the one that should keep you up tonight. What if a stretch of rising costs hits right as you start pulling income out in those first few years of retirement? Because a hit in that exact window doesn't just sting, it could permanently damage a plan that once looked bulletproof. Now, there's a narrow window. The 5 years on either side of your retirement date, where one wrong setup can quietly undo 30 years of saving. That's the one we'd watch next. Why the 5 years before retirement matter more than the 30 years after, and exactly how to protect that window. It's right here, because investing is the easy part.